Do I need to sit lower? Oh, you're fine.
The music started. Shut up. Let it play. 2, 3, 4. Come on, boys. Let's bounce.
I'm feeling it.
J. Coles.
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the who, what, why, and when of the Antichrist? Chris, we need to adjust that camera. Jay's camera. He's screwed up. Do you know what the Antichrist is? Have you been inside a church ever in your life?
Yeah, but man, not since I was 12?
Part of the Antichrist thing is he or she or whatever it is will not be seen as evil as first, but will appear wise and powerful and admirable before revealing its true nature. I think that's where we are right now with AI and particularly music and what AI has now done to music. And that's what we're going to talk about today, Jay. And we have two guests. Our first guest, very close to the program, John Heidt's son, Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going good, Dylan, and we're bringing you on because you're young and you have taught us, everybody on GL. Now, Jay, I want to introduce you to Dylan. Yeah. This kid isn't he's not a kid. He's a man. He's a full-grown man approaching 30. Sorry about that, Dylan. I don't know where I picked that up. Where
he's
I start.
Still a kid.
I talk. 20 and 30 year olds. I call them kids, they like are. I'm father time.
Well, you're a grandpa now, so.
But Dylan, you are so accomplished, and it took you years and years and years of playing and practicing to get where you are. And Jay, he does all of our music for the podcast, and he does that because we can't just play Bachman Turner Overdrive without getting sued. You know what I mean? Yeah. We can't play copyrighted music on podcasts. So we have hired Dylan, and I'm sure we're not paying you nearly enough, but your music is so good, and lyrics don't get in the way, which we really like.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We're bringing you on because I think, Jay, we both feel the same way. This song, Walk My Walk by the fake band Breaking Rust, not only is the song a piece of shit, but it's allegedly number one on the country charts.
That's what caught my attention, Ken. That's why I sent it to you.
Yeah.
My son baited me with it. He sent it to me, and he goes, "What do you think of this new song? It's number one on the country charts, blah, blah, blah." And I listened to it, and I was like you. I said, well, I don't know. I was waiting for some music. It just felt funny to me. And I said, the guy's singing really fast. I couldn't figure it out. I said, but it's okay. It's going to catch you. I guess I could see where people might like it en masse. But and then Taylor Rose, he goes, Dad, that whole thing is fake. It's the music, the lyrics, everything fake. And that's when I sent it to you and said, Kenny, we might be able to do a show about this because I don't know anything about AI, to be quite honest with you. I know very little.
Yeah.
And then what does this mean for guys like Dylan or any musician professionally?
Well,
how does this work?
Let's start at the beginning, because the way the music business is right up until AI stepped in has vastly changed. Yeah. When I was a young 20, 30-year-old, a hipster, I was going to see bands almost every night of the week. And it was the same thing. And Dylan, you already know this. You get together with a bunch of guys. First of all, in order to get together with a bunch of guys, you have to spend a lot of time alone practicing. Mm-hmm. The notion that musicians are a bunch of burnouts and lazy is the biggest fallacy in the world. Musicians are hard workers, and I mean, it takes hours and years to become okay at playing a guitar, let alone being super accomplished and brilliant at it. Right, Dylan? How many hours? It
really does.
How many hours do you think by the time you were, I'm just going to pick arbitrary, 20 years old, by the time you were 20, can you even put a number on how many hours you had spent playing guitar? Thousands and thousands and thousands. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we're talking 9-10 hours a day some days when I had the time.
Wow.
Can you imagine that, Jay?
That's some dedication. That's ambition that I do not have.
Yeah.
Good for you, Dylan.
And so you have to do all of that before you get together with your buddies.
Right.
And then I don't know if anybody's been in a band before, but drummers are a pain in the ass. They really are.
Why are drummers? Because it's funny. My folks wanted me to play an instrument.
Yeah.
And they said you can choose any instrument you want. I said I want to play the drums. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to play. So why are we a pain in the ass?
Because you all think you're band leaders.
Oh yeah,
you all think you're Gene Krupa.
I would have thought John Bonham. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
I would have thought
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Right.
and
You're
nothing could be further from the truth. Just shut up and try to keep the beat, okay?
Hey, quick question though before you go any further, Kenny. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt.
Yeah,
So,
no.
can we not play that song on the podcast because of copyright stuff? The fake song that we're talking about?
We can play it. We're going to
okay,
play
okay.
it.
Well,
we're going to let the lawyers sort it out.
Okay. I would think for news purposes, what we do downstairs in TV news is there's a clause in the law that says if it's fair use,
Yeah.
which this would fall under fair use because we're talking about it in the form of a podcast, a news and entertainment show. We're not using it for any kind of monetary gain. So I do think we're covered under the fair use agreement. There you go.
So what I wanted to get to, Jay, is the amount of work and the time it takes just to get your first gig. Mm-hmm. And then you get your gig, and after a couple of years, you become popular, and you finally get a record company weasel to show up at one of your gigs. And he says, yeah, okay, we'll spend $10,000 on a recording, and you end up owing that money to the record company. And the way you pay it back, and this is the old days, is you go out on the road and you make your money. And that's where the money was made on the road. And Dylan, you've spent time on the road. How's time on the road? How do you like that, a gig in every city for the next 30 days straight?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I love being on the road. I love interacting with fans. I love meeting new people, seeing new places, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The part, however, that I don't like is, 6 people in one hotel room with one bed. So you got 5 people on the ground.
Yeah.
Depends on who the people are, but
no, Jay.
Right.
Don't go there.
Very
It's
true.
not. Even if it was you and all babes, it would still be awful. It would just be the worst thing ever.
Says you. Okay. Says you.
The other issue with being on the road, of course, is food. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're stopping at a truck stop, you're grabbing a ham and cheese sandwich, maybe a bag of chips, maybe a protein shake if you're really lucky and they've got those in the cooler.
Yeah.
Glamorous.
But yeah, being on the road is certainly not my definition of living any sort of life of luxury.
It's a real
grind.
struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you take into account on the road nowadays, if you look at companies or organizations like Live Nation, that comes into play when you're playing at their venues, because if you sell any amount of merchandise at their venues during, throughout the night, whatever, they actually have started to come in and take merch cuts from bands every night.
Wow. Oh my God. That is a prime example of how evil the music business is right there. Because merch sales are often the only way you get to eat when you leave the venue.
I have a nephew.
Exactly. And
My brother's son, that's what he does for a
I
living. He's a merch guy. He travels the country with all these big bands. He does the merch stuff.
Yeah.
Good money.
What were you going to say, Dylan?
No, I was just going to say, when you were talking earlier, you had said something about being on the road, and I just wanted to highlight that because that's kind of a new thing with Live Nation kind of buying up smaller venues, to where now the artists that aren't funded by a major label or don't have, a big machine backing them are having to take what normally they would probably put towards gas, hotel rooms, food, in the form of, merch sales, merch money, and they're giving a cut to these venues.
Yeah. So then the business now has changed. Again, we're talking pre-AI, to where you don't necessarily need a record company to release an album, 12 songs worth of material. You can, with equipment, you can record it in your own studio, i.e. garage, basement, whatever, empty room, and release it yourself. And through social media marketing, you can present it to followers and listeners, correct?
Absolutely.
And that's how I met, and I don't mean meet, that's how I came in contact with your friend Dylan Reese. And Dylan Reese is the guy that wrote this. What is the official name of that song we use every week on CRABBY to open up the show? Ice something, cold, ice cold, something, something.
Ice cold. You got it.
And to me, this is one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life. Seriously, I love this song passionately. Mm-hmm. Yeah, play it, run it up. Let's hear it. And did you play on this still?
I did, yeah. I played the bass, the guitar, and the drum. Helped out with the drum parts.
See?
Sweet.
And at 30 seconds in comes the 30-second music break that I like to use as the close of the show. And it's absolutely brilliant. And Dylan Reese, the owner of the song, is kind of like, here's that. How do you not bounce when you hear this?
That's sweet.
Yeah. So Dylan Reese has decided, maybe not, and doesn't care if I use it. If I had my way, I would write Dylan Reese a $10,000 check. I would own that song, and then I would force it on America. That's how good I think that song is.
It's a great song. Who's singing? Who are the singers on the?
That's Dylan Reese.
Oh, that's Dylan singing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
And Dylan Reese continues to release music. I follow him on one of the social platforms, and he's throwing music out, and I listen to every single one of them and really love him. And he's very talented, and it just goes to show you that through hard work and perseverance, you can finally do something and present your music to the public without the involvement of a records company. Right up until AI stepped in.
Right.
And now this song, and you've heard it, right? I think it's called Walk My Walk by Breaking Rust. Chris, if you have that, here it is. And I guess I'd classify it as new country.
Been beat down,
with a tinge of old black guy blues.
Yeah, it's a little bit of
got
blues.
mud on my jeans, still ready to go.
Blues with
Every
no
scar's
soul,
a story
maybe?
that I survived. I've been through hell, but I'm still alive. They said, slow down, boy, don't go too fast. But I ain't never been one to live in the past. I keep moving forward, never looking back, with a worn out hat and a 6-string strap.
Okay, kill the nonsense. How's that make you feel, Dylan? It really, you know what, and it really depresses me. It really bums me out.
It went to number
Same
one.
Here. I don't understand how it went to number one. I understand that some people might not know that it's AI. They might not care that it's AI. I think the problem for me is that it just lacks any real depth or soul.
Mm-hmm.
Soul, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just completely, it's a very hollow sounding song.
Yeah.
It's a good way to put it.
That's Dill. I played bass as a kid in a band, and that's why I don't pursue it now. I've got one sitting within reach because I can play a song, but I'm just playing the notes. I can't, for some reason, I've lost my musical soul. I can plunk the notes, I can keep up, I can do, semi-adequate work, but it's boring and dull and lifeless. And I can't do that, and I know you can't do it.
Me, I can't.
Yeah,
it's passion for you.
Yeah, it's a passion thing, and it has to move me or move something within me. If I'm going to record something, if I'm going to play something, whether it's live, in a studio setting, whatever the case may be, if it's not, and granted, I probably have too high of expectations of myself sometimes, but if it's not to that level of expectation that I have, it's going to get scrapped, right? Even if everybody else in the room loves it, nothing's happening with it.
When you write a song, say, Such or somebody calls you and said, hey, we need 12 new songs. Do you already have something going on in your head? And what instrument are you hearing in your head when you sit down and start recording? Well, how does it start and how does it end?
Always guitar. Everything starts with guitar for me, and then if I need to, I'll move it over to piano or synths or whatever the main instrument is going to be. but it starts there and then always goes bass, drums, and then anything else that I might add after that, whether it's just, little ear candy pieces or anything along those lines.
Stuff with hooks. Hooks always get me. I really don't even care about the genre. I'm at the point where I'm just going to admit I'm a real slut for hooks. I really love hooks, whether it's soul, punk rock, or, top 40 dance. It does disco. I love disco hooks. I'm finally at that age where I can say I don't mind disco at all.
That's fair. Disco has great hooks. Always has.
I'm glad you're putting yourself out there, Kenny. I agree with you. The hooks, I can listen to anything. I'm not musically inclined at all, but I know what I like when I hear it. Like everybody else, it's subjective. I get it. But I was really surprised at how, when my son sent that to me, he kind of set me up. I didn't notice or realize that was AI until he told me. Dylan, can you, as accomplished as you are, could you listen to that? Or if I had sent that to you and said, check out this new #1 hit on the country charts, would you have been able to immediately text me back and say that's AI? Would you be able to pick that up or not?
What scares me is that most of the time I can, but it's only because of the vocals.
Okay.
I can't differentiate the music from an actual, group of musicians sitting down and playing in a recording studio. And I will say that, in preparation for this and talking to Kenny a little bit here, I actually sat down and I started messing with one of these AI song generators just to get a feel for how they work.
Really? Yeah.
It's scary. It is very scary.
When you say scary, what do you mean by scary?
Scary in the sense that, from where I look at it, as someone who's not a vocalist, as someone who is an instrumentalist, whether it's guitar, bass, drums, whatever, the music sounds phenomenal. Like if somebody sent me an instrumental with no vocals on it and it was created by AI, but they didn't tell me that it was made by AI, there's no way that I could tell.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Unless it was really, really low quality and just didn't have a lot of thought behind it. But for the most part, everything that I generated today, as I was messing around with, the AI song generator, the music sounded like a full band in a recording studio.
Wow. Okay, now I understand scary. I get what you're saying.
What if you had an offer that came in at 7 p.m. tonight, and the offer was, I'll pay you $1,000, but I need 3 minutes done by 7 p.m. tomorrow, and you don't have anything in your head. Would you? Maybe?
Absolutely not.
Good. Okay, good.
I would pass that offer along if the opportunity was there to another musician before I, still work with AI.
I've got a story, and it's going to be disjointed because I only remember part of it. And if your dad was here, he would correct me word for word. But I think it involves George Harrison and the Traveling Wilburys before they were a band. And he got these guys together, and they had, I think, a day left in the studio. This is where I wish John was here because he'd already be correcting me. And they had no idea what they were going to do, but they knew they were going to go into the studio tomorrow and do a song. And they did. And it turned out to be a big hit. That's what I want out of music. I want 4 or 5 guys, incredibly talented, huge depth of musical knowledge to go and just whip something out, and it's brilliant. That's what I expect out of musicians.
That's kind of the way I grew up listening to music in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody had a distinctive sound. You heard a chord come out, and you could almost pick the band immediately, right?
Yeah.
And now with AI, how would that ever happen? And
let's put it into your world, Jay.
Yeah.
You're sitting at your desk downstairs on TV. You just got a call. Something's happening. It's 5 o'clock. You have to have a package ready for 6:10. And you could do that. You could go down there. You could, with your notebook and your camera and microphone, and you could give them 3-4 minutes a package by 6:10, right? Under pressure. We all work under pressure. Sometimes I'll be dinking around in the morning when I should be prepping traffic, and I'm not. And I'll look at the clock and I'll realize, holy S, I have 45 seconds to get a 90-second traffic report ready.
Which you can do.
And I look at the screen, I see what's going on, and I just type notes. And 30 seconds later, I'm on the air giving a 90-second report. So we can all do that. But I learned today, snooping around, there are AI traffic reporters already where they're taking that information and they're throwing it out there. Jay, you're all gonna be replaced by AI. Dylan, you may as well learn how to, I don't know, change oil on cars or do something, because we're all gonna be replaced by AI.
That's the spooky part, Kenny. We're already using AI down in the newsroom.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, I'll give you an example. I can write my package, type it out for the TV version. And then we have what we call our web copy. We put like a little small newspaper type story on the web. Go along with the video, right?
Right, yeah.
We can take now the written script for the TV version, plug it into AI, and they will clean it up into newspaper print with all the quotes. They take the sound bites, turn them into quotes, and it'll turn web copy for you in a matter of seconds, where I would take 20 minutes to a half hour to write that web copy. Now,
you guys, you're shooting yourself in the foot by doing that.
Well, yes and no. The one thing about news, Kenny, that makes it a little bit different is I still have to fact check it. It still has to come out factually correct.
Right.
So, yeah, it can help speed things up, cut a little corner from writing the web copy, for example.
Yeah.
But I do think it's going to be hard to replace completely reporters in the field, because
personality.
you gotta have a little personality. That goes a long way.
Yeah.
Creative style, because every reporter does things a little differently. And you got to be able to fact check it, right? So even though we use the AI, Kenny, I'm the human going through it, making sure it's editorially correct. So
and when I listen to Dylan, I hear Dill. I hear Dill's personality when he plays that guitar or when he's playing that bass. And I always like to try to figure out, okay, what was in Dill's head when he decided to play that bass line? Yeah, here's one of them. This is just at random, right, Chris? You just picked one.
I picked this one because this is Such's favorite one.
Okay. Dylan,
sweet.
This is me driving home in the rain at 5 a.m. as it's getting light. My nerves are frayed. I've been on the road for 8 hours. I see my house. I'm coming in for a landing. That's what a song should do.
Yeah.
It should put you in your own kind of mood, no matter what the songwriter or the musicians were thinking when they created it, right? Isn't that the goal here?
That is 100% the goal. Whether, my interpretation of what I was trying to convey when I was writing it is completely irrelevant to whoever my listener is. I want my listener to be able to draw their own conclusion and put their own meaning to that piece of music.
And when I heard this AI Walk, whatever it is, song,
Walk My Talk? What's it
I
called?
heard some
Walk
guy,
My Walk.
imitate. I heard a guy imitating an old black guy and not doing a very good job, and a very generic band behind him.
That's what
doing
it
an
sounded
okay
like to me.
job.
When
Doing
you
an okay
watch
job.
the YouTube video, which is where I played that from, it's the first time I've seen the official video. I've heard the song a million times. But when you watch the official video, it's a computer-generated actor playing this cowboy with his beard and whatnot. And you can tell right away, as Dylan mentioned.
This is nuts.
When you see the video of this guy, you can tell right away it's
That it's AI?
Yep.
When you first heard it, did you hear it over the radio? How did you first hear it?
I heard it, somebody sent it to me, a buddy. I think it was either my brother or a buddy of mine.
Did
sent
you
it to me.
know before you listened?
No.
I didn't either.
I didn't.
What
I did
did you
not.
think? I thought it was real.
I thought it sounds like every other bro country song
yes,
you hear right
and
now.
I thought it sounded
Okay.
like Dylan said he could pick up the voice. Could
Yeah.
you, Dylan, on that particular song, if you want to call it that, could you tell that was AI from his vocal?
I could tell that the vocal was, for sure.
Really?
There's just little things where I've done so much work as an audio engineer, where I've mixed and mastered records, where you can kind of hear the digitized vocal where it just doesn't sound quite as natural as a human vocal coming through in the mix.
Yeah.
You tell I'm a big dummy. I just
It comes from, well, we could address the sophistication of the listening ear, especially with new country. Might not be, and I really want to be sensitive here, and I don't want to insult people, but they might not have a sensitive ear, and they say, I know what I like. I like what I like.
That's me.
Okay.
For the longest time, Clarence Verdun with Earth, Wind, and Fire, the bass guy. Is that how you say his name, Verdun?
Amazing bass player.
Amazing bass player out of Earth, Wind, and Fire. I thought he was terrific as a kid. So I do have an appreciation, but I'm not good enough to define it like Dylan just did when he said I could recognize the vocals. I couldn't. My son set me up. I completely fell for it. I thought that was a real band, a real singer. And then my first thought was, what does this mean for guys like Dylan? I've got two guys that I've known since high school. They were in a high school band. They're in the West 7th Street band. They play down at the White Squirrel all the time, and I go see them. They're terrific players. One's a bass player. I just thought, what does it mean for guys like that who this is their living, and like you said at the top of the show, Kenny, work their whole lives to get to where they are?
Okay, let's go down that road. I don't see this. This might replace musicians in the studio. And again, record company executives, if you're a record company executive listening to this right now, I hate you. I really do. You are
Agreed.
A horrible, horrible person, and you're destroying musicians and the business.
Yep.
Anyway, I got that out. But what is this doing to touring bands that are doing, like, say, not arenas, but theaters and big clubs? Not much, right? It's not going to affect those guys, is it?
No, it shouldn't have an impact on touring musicians. The one thing that I will say, which I've had some conversations with some friends down in Nashville about, because they're trying to get ahead of it. Obviously, we see this song going #1 on digital country music sales chart. So
Crazy.
I was talking to a couple of buddies in Nashville, and the way that they're looking at it is in the same way that when streaming took over physical formats, the record companies worked as hard as they could to kind of keep artists in the dark in terms of what they were planning on doing with, we'll set it up so that we get this amount of their streaming royalties and the artist only gets, this little percentage. So what artists are trying to do right now is get out ahead of the AI to where if you're an artist, you can, claim, or I guess maintain ownership of your AI likeness or image or voice or whatever. So if your record company comes to you and says, hey, we're going to generate this vocal part. It's only 4 bars or 8 bars, but we're going to do it. We're going to take X amount of royalties, X amount of percentage on the back end and put it in our pocket instead of yours because you didn't actually come in and sing the song, or you didn't come in and sing the hook or whatever.
Oh, God,
now the artists are trying to get out ahead of it and say, no, I own my likeness, I own my voice, I own my image, whether or not it's AI generated or not.
Good.
But
how do you own something that's been artificially created that's not you?
Exactly.
That's where a lot of, I think on the legal side of things, a lot of artists are trying to figure that out and how they can maintain ownership of this artificially generated version of themselves.
Weird.
Dill, are there any noteworthy producers right now, record company people that are fighting AI? I don't know, but I would assume somebody like Rick Rubin would be vehemently against AI. Is there anybody like that you know of?
There are, I would say the vast majority of independent bands and artists are 100% against AI, to the point where within these scenes and communities online, if these independent artists and bands see someone in their community using an AI generated poster or AI generated this, that, or the other, they will immediately call them out on social media, which
good
is good and bad. I mean, I don't think you need to put people on blast publicly. Maybe send them a DM about it, but I get where
you'll get further. I've learned my lesson with that. You'll get further keeping it, as I say, off the air, out of the public eye. I've tried the public eye thing, and I always lose when I do that. Most people do. Do you have any websites or links or anything that you want to promote before we let you go?
No. Mainly just Dylan Reese. Check out Dylan Reese, because a lot of his stuff I've had a hand in producing or writing. So,
do you think, Dylan, that this AI will? I don't know how you. I know the artists are trying to push back and get out in front of it, but I don't know how you stop a machine like that that's already out. Do you think it's just going to wipe out studio musicians completely, or mostly, or will studio musicians be able to survive it?
I think it will definitely eat up some of the work that studio musicians right now are doing. Some of the more complex stuff, like guitar solos or solos of any kind, I shouldn't say I don't think that they'll be able to do, but you never know 5-10 years down the line how advanced everything is going to get. But I think for the more complex stuff, you're still going to see studio musicians thriving. But something as simple as, a few chord changes here or there, I'm sure there are already engineers that are, plugging those ideas into AI and having them generate, a 4-bar thing of chords.
Crazy. I mean, if you would have told me 2-3 years ago, in 2025, there'd be an AI-generated song, completely AI, all of it, and it would go to number 1 on whatever chart it's. I would not have thought or believed it.
Jay, I knew we were in trouble when I started relying on spell check. Seriously, right. I knew it was wrong when I gave up trying to spell. Instead of looking the word up, I just let the computer fix it.
Right.
That's
good
for
point.
Me. That's where it started.
Fair point. It started with spell check.
If you're a musician, a producer, or anybody that wants music, I would advise you get a hold of me at the program, kolson@garagelogic.com, and I will hook you up with Dylan Heidt, a wonderful, wonderful musician. Dylan, everything you do moves me, and it sends me in one direction or the other, and that's why I love you. And that's why I love that we feature you every single day on Garage Logic. So thank you for joining us at the CRABBY Coffee Shop. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sweet. All the tension is leaving my shoulders.
Look at me, just relaxing on a beach, with nothing on my mind at all. Been watching the sand crabs crawl.
CJ, this is what I mean. Music that puts you in a place.
Yep.
In the shade.
We're talking to a guy that has his own Wikipedia page. Never mind everything else he's done in his life, that's just absolutely phenomenal. He's got his own Wikipedia page.
Will we ever
Jeff.
get there, Kenny? We'll never get there.
No, I hope not. Jeff Dayton, hi. Thanks for joining us on the CRABBY Coffee Shop.
Kenny. Thank you so much, Kenny and Jay and everybody else, Reeves. It's an honor to be asked. This is the age of online presence, and I appreciate you guys.
You think you know a guy, and I guess I just know you from being on GL and being one of the guys and hanging out backstage and on the bus and all of that. And then I go to your Wikipedia page and I go, holy crap.
He's done something.
Wow. You've played with everybody. You started at age 9 and you have not looked back.
And not really, not at all. I mean, I've had the want to forever, and I had to get to finally when I got my first guitar. And I have more gas in my tank than guys half my age. I really do.
That's great.
Yeah. And by the way, I had nothing to do with that wiki page. I don't know where it came from, but I'm grateful it's there.
Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about something about that because it mentions your family growing up, and it reminded me of my family. Every time we got together on my mom's side, once the dishes got done, the guitars come out, the auto harp comes out, the laptop steel, he called it a Hawaiian guitar, it all comes out, and we just start singing these down home, some of them hymns, but a lot of them country, and just old cool songs, and we'd spend the afternoon doing that. And it sounds like you did a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah, Mom played the piano and sang, and my dad, my father George Dayton, was a weekend warrior in a Dixieland band. So to see me playing guitar after I got into it, even though he was already gone by then from the family, he was proud as could be proud as punch. And Mom would sing, and she would tell me to play along with her, but I didn't know the songs. And so she would just correct me as I was going, and she'd say, okay, start here. Okay, no, not that chord. Okay, that chord. And then I'd change it. And that was my ear training.
Well, that's a great way to learn, a friendly, encouraging way to learn. But you continued on with education and post-high school education, and you really pursued the music, I would say, on a professional level.
Well, it did. I mean, I went to college. That's saying something. When I was with Glen Campbell already, and our conductor left the group right away at the beginning of my time with him, they said, "Do you have a college degree in music?" I said, "Yes, sir." They said, "Can you conduct an orchestra?" And I went, "Yes, sir." And away we went.
Well, Kenny sent me your bio, so I did do some research. It wasn't like I was completely flat-footed on this, but as soon as I saw it played with Glen Campbell, I knew. I said, "Oh, we got a big shot. We got a big timer coming in." What was that like playing with him? Because I've read a lot about him and how great he was as a musician. I suppose you would back all that up, right?
Well, I don't know what I'm allowed to say on the show. I think you guys, break a few norms too. So Glen Campbell would say it's like walking in tall cotton and wiping your butt on the top leaf.
I got to steal that. I want to steal that. It's a good line.
That's great.
That's what it was like. I mean, it was like, Jay, it was like being with one of the greats of all time. Yeah. I'm convinced that in Heaven's band up there, there's a Hall of Fame band because, there's so many great pickers. But Glenn started with the Wrecking Crew, and before that, playing the clubs. So he knew both worlds. He knew how to make records. He knew how to do 5 nights a week in the dance halls. And he learned every time he turned around. And he never walked through a situation and didn't learn something. And he would share that with us, and I was really impressed with that. So, yeah.
Jay, do you know the Wrecking Crew reference?
The band?
It's a group. You know what? You describe, Jeff. Describe the Wrecking Crew for Jay and anybody who doesn't know.
Because I saw the documentary on Glen Campbell, and they covered this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then you got some of that. The Wrecking Crew was the new guys in Los Angeles starting in about 62 or 63, 62 really, who were coming into the recording studios like Gold Star and Capitol Records and places like that. And they were the young guys, and the older guys were dressed like they were going to work, wearing a suit and tie, with a jacket and tie. And they said, these new guys are unkempt. They don't comb their hair, and they wear T-shirts, and they're going to wreck the music business. And that's where the name came from. Yeah, and
some of the young guys?
The fact that I've gotten to meet a few of those guys, and I've actually gotten to work with a couple of them, it's great. So that
throw
was the
some
Wrecking
names
Crew.
at us.
In fact,
who were the young guys?
I just got gifted a jacket that belonged to the drummer Hal Blaine, and it was his Gold Star recording.
Wow.
Embroidered jacket. Yeah,
cool.
Who was the bass player, the gal who is so phenomenal? What's her name?
Her name is Carol Kay.
Yeah, Carol Kay. That's right. Started on guitar, moved to bass. Absolutely phenomenal player, and has literally played on every single song that was made in Los Angeles, California.
So in the end, the Wrecking Crew didn't wreck anything, did they?
No, and that was Glenn. That was
Right.
Glenn's training ground on how to pick songs or take an average demo of a song and turn it into a hit record. And those guys, like Carol Kay, they were working on These Boots Are Made for Walking, and it was just going to be rhythm guitar at the top. And she said, "You can't do that. It's boring." Yeah, bang, 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 bang. That famous lick.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Okay, before we get to your opinion, what do you suppose the Wrecking Crew, any of them, would have to say about Walk My Walk, the AI song by the fake band Breaking Rust?
Boys, I'm torn two directions at once. It's like being drawn and quartered by a current topic.
Yeah.
I just interviewed a guy. I have a podcast as well. And I'm so inspired by all of you that I had to go out and start my own.
Well, that's good. Yeah, you should.
I've got my own little patch of corn out there. It's called Count It Off. And today I just interviewed a guy who is one of the top steel guitar players in town of all time, really. And we were talking about that thing, and he said, I've gotten used to it. I've surrendered. I've given up. I think that when I first got exposed to AI, some people were telling me about it, and I was like, oh yeah, AI, and I sort of dismissed it until somebody sent me a song that they had written, and I said, great track, and who the heck is that singer? Man, he's good. And they said, it's an AI voice.
Oh.
And at first I was like, oh my God. And so I tried it out with some lyrics in mind. I just threw some lyrics in for a song that I hadn't written yet. I mean, I'd written it, I had it in my head, I had the whole structure, it was all,
Yeah.
And what it spit out was, it made me want to cry and celebrate at the same time.
Chris, do you have that?
There is one, and I'm going to back that story up too. But the thing about there's a movie called the Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch, and it's the Breaking the Enigma Code. And he's playing Alan Turing, who was the guy, the computer whiz. He invented computers, and he's looking at the Enigma machine as a math guy, and he says it's beautiful. And Commander Dennison from the British Royal Navy says it's the crooked hand of death itself.
That's a good quote.
I'm getting all kinds of quotes I can steal today. That's another good one that describes it perfectly.
So, what did you think about AI doing Jeff Dayton? Did you like it?
Well, here's the thing. I'm a creator. I'm a music creator, I'm a songwriter, and I'm a performer. And if I suddenly shifted gears and started taking, just living on Halloween candy, I don't think I'd have the self-respect that I do today.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for that loose analogy, but no. I have made a decision to turn off anything that's AI from my end of the world, and not even kiss that girl anymore.
Good. Yeah.
Because, and the other thing that we talked about, Russ is from Minnesota, great guy, and he and I both agreed that you cannot replace a live performance. You can't replace the dangerous walk on the skinny branch in front of the people that are out there, and they're like, is he going to fall off the branch, Mama? What's going to happen this time?
That's the perfect way to describe performing live and seeing a good live outfit. That's exactly it.
Yeah,
you'll never catch that Rust thing ever touring unless people are happy. Then you might as well just go watch a movie.
I don't feel so bad now, Jeff, because Kenny, Robbie, a few others, previous guests said they could tell on that song when they heard the voice that it was not real. My son sent it to me and basically tricked me. He just said, what do you think of this new country song that went #1? And I just wrote an honest response back. He wrote back and said, the whole thing's fake. It's a fake voice. Its lyrics were made up. It was all AI. And I was stunned because I couldn't tell the difference. And I think you just said you had the similar experience where you have heard a song that's AI and you did not know, and you did not know the voice was not real, right?
Yeah, and it's startlingly good right now, and just wait until a year from now.
Be better. Because
AI, I don't think I've seen a newscast of any type that covers just, the big topics of today without AI. I'm watching the Bloomberg Market Report, and they're talking about the companies that are heavily invested in AI, and they're environmental people are talking about, how much power it takes to power AI and all this stuff. I mean, it's here to stay, I'm afraid. My son, showed me that too. He had to write something for me and he sent it to me, and I was like, you've really turned into a writer. He goes, Dad, I used Chat GPT.
Wow.
That scares me. I hear that a lot from guys who have regular real world jobs where they say, yeah, I'll use it to help me write something for a presentation. I don't like that at all. I don't endorse that. I think if you want to write something, it takes blood and sweat and thought and thinking about it and confusion and anger and joy and everything it takes to write something. To me,
this is my world, guys. I have
right there.
All my stuff is written. This is what I do. And you know, I birthed these songs, these babies, you know, and I tried them out there, hoping that people are going to like them, and I do the best Jeff that there is. But to have it just done in 5 minutes is like, I'm sorry, that's not the organic way for me, and I'm an old hippie.
Before we had you on, we had Dylan Heidt on, and you've played with him. That's John Height's son.
Yes, I like him a lot. And
Yeah.
a fine young player.
Yeah, he's really amazing, and he does all of our bumper music work for Garage Logic. And what I told him, and the song that Chris played of yours, playing you in, I need it to take me somewhere. I need a hook. I need it to put me in a certain frame of mind, and that's how I know I love this piece. And this rusty walk my way, whatever the hell it is, takes me nowhere. It doesn't do anything for me emotionally or mentally at all. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like it. I have yet to be fished in that I know about with AI.
Yeah. I spend a lot of time when I can't sleep at night with my laptop entertainment center on my chest, and at 2 a.m, and I'm just flipping through the shorts, you know, scrolling up through YouTube shorts, and there'll be some amazing looking woman walking down the street, and I looked for a second longer and I go, oh no, it's another fake.
Yeah.
It's another fake.
Yeah. With me, it's dogs and cats fighting and getting along. I'm like, there's no way this happened. There's absolutely no way.
You know,
Apparently YouTube knows what we're both watching, John.
Yeah.
there are no secrets anymore. George Strait and I think it was Alan Jackson had a great song, "Murder on Music Row." They committed murder on Music Row.
Yeah, Larry Cordell, that song. That's a great song.
Great song. Is AI going to be a double homicide on Music Row?
Jury's out on that one, Jay. You know, I mean, it's still being handled, processed, and the shockwave has not stopped rolling through town here. Publishers are pitching AI demos, meaning that when they get a song from a songwriter, I know of one major arena-sized star who is doing AI demos of his songs now. Because in 5 minutes, he's got what he needs.
Oh.
Now, what happens here in town is that a lot of the studios are taking songwriter demos that are created with AI and a fake voice, and they're recording them with real musicians and a real singer. And that's kind of where we're at right now, but who knows where it's going.
That kind of reminds me of R&B and soul in the 50s, where it was just generic studio musicians that recorded something, and then they had to go out and find a live band to tour. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a weird backwards version of that.
Can I interject for just a minute, Ken? Because I think you'll remember this segment. This is when we were still back on the radio, and I punked Joe playing this song, and it was a spoof. It was a YouTube clip. And I had told him this is a new hit song by a country artist, and you guys will recognize this. Just give it a minute. About 10 years ago.
I don't remember this.
I don't either yet.
I'm still parked out by the lake, 80 miles from Santa Fe. And I'm sitting here just parked out by the lake.
Okay.
If you're wondering where I park, I'm out parked by the lake. It's the lake that's 80 miles from Santa Fe.
What is this, Chris?
And I'm parked out by the
So this was an artist by the name of Dustin Christensen. He actually performed this song, but he was making fun of the current state of country music and just showing how ridiculous it is. This thing has been viewed about 10 trillion times on YouTube, and I'm sure he's made money doing it.
So that brings me to a sensitive question for you, Jeff. What are the politics like in Nashville if you came out and were vehemently and very vocal anti-AI? Would that hurt your career at all in town in Nashville?
You know, talking to my buddy Russ today, he kind of hit the, as Glenn would say, he hit the nail with his head on this one. We are a conservative town here, and people they're not really big on taking huge leaps of faith into new territory.
Yeah.
I think that most people like Alan Jackson and George Strait wouldn't be caught dead cutting an AI track.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that the old guard are going to stick to what they've got. And, here's the other thing. If I got loud and proud and started getting in the town's face with opinions and stuff like that, right away I'd lose half of my following.
Yeah.
And there's that risk too. So I can't talk a wave back into the ocean. I can't push, the wind to go back west. It's coming from the west and here comes that storm. It's like, go back where you came from. I can't do that. And people, as they say, people gonna do what they gonna do.
Yes, they are.
But God bless us all. I mean, I hope we survive this thing with some integrity and some creativity alive, because I just want to keep making music that touches people. And Kenny, the fact that you like that song Chillo, that's real musicians. That's some A-list cats on there with me. And I'm grateful that we've got those people here. I don't want to take any bread off their table either.
Well, my favorite songs are the ones and there's a couple Steely Dan songs. What's the song by Clapton and Cream, Layla, that right at the beginning, and a lot of bluegrass songs that the instant they start playing, I'm on board. I mean, right away, you're somewhere and you're going somewhere. And that's what I like about that song. And a lot of actually songs from you are like that, and I don't know that AI can it duplicate that? That, to me, that's personality. That's the personality of the musician and the bands that are taking me there.
Well, if you have a blender and you take all of the things you just talked about, like Steely Dan, like the Nightfly album from Donald Fagen, and your favorite tracks from Phil Collins and Genesis and Dark Side of the Moon, and all the rock that we grew up on, and AC/DC and Zeppelin and bluegrass and Hendrix and the Beatles and the folk music, and you put it in a blender, AI now knows all about all of that.
That's depressing.
All that input is in the database. It's in the bank. It's in the intelligence part of that thing, that monster, I guess, that is not going to be washed away by us telling it don't play good bluegrass. I have a friend, Bill White. He's a WSM Radio Hall of Fame broadcaster here in our
the
650
radio
WSM
station. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Bill and I have a song from a long time ago called "Have a Biscuit." I might have played it at the fair with you guys at one point, because y'all are such a hoot to be with. And it's just kind of like a John Prine meets a country boy. Well, Bill put it into AI and sent me the demo, and I was just like, oh my God, it's a bluegrass song now. And he said, I thought it might help pitching the song.
Oh, I hadn't considered that.
So
some of my favorite songs were like when bluegrass bands take, like, I don't know, an AC/DC song and they turn it into a bluegrass song. That's some of my favorite music, but I've never considered AI playing a part in that.
Yeah.
I
what would be fun is you could take Led Zeppelin, take Ramble On, and throw it into AI and say, make it a bluegrass song. I bet you it'll be comical fun at a party.
Okay. So last time we hung out together, I told you about my son who listened to Glen's catalog from the very first one to the very last one. And I turned him on to a band called Dread Zeppelin, which was Led Zeppelin, Elvis, and was it ska or reggae? But they mixed them all up, and it was one of the funnest live acts you could ever go see. They were so fun.
Yeah, that hopefully will always be that way, that when, creative people get together, the chemistry, just like the chemistry on your shows, this CRABBY Coffee Shop and, the show with Joe and everybody. I mean, that's where the magic is. That's why people tune in.
Yeah.
I've had guys that say, I love your stories. And when we do our shows, I've got a couple of shows involving, the people I've played with and others. And they come up and they say, we love your stories. The songs are great, but man, we love hearing that stuff we never knew.
Well,
that'll be fun.
It sounds, Jeff, listening to you, and I also talking to Dylan. Heidt called it AI. He called it scary. He thought it would probably cost some jobs for, say, studio musicians. It seems like what I've learned today is music's going to continue on. There will be artists, but it's going to be drastically changed and maybe not as many artists, would you say? Is there any, what would you predict with AI? Because like you said, it's only in its infancy and it's only going to get better. If you had to look down the road 5-10 years, where do you think it will be?
I don't think it's going to need to be that long, Jay.
Wow.
You know, I think that in a year, we're going to see a remarkable improvement in the quality of AI, but that's just technology running at lightning speed. I think that we have more people creating music now with AI than ever, because everybody wants to be able to write a song that maybe they can't sing to hold they can't play guitar, they can't, count to 4 without stumbling over their shoes, and AI can do all that for them, and then they go, look I've got a song, and then they put it on social media somewhere, and TikTok's blowing it up, and not only that Rusty Walk thing that is #1 on the Billboard streaming, the #3 song on that chart is an AI song also.
So out of the top three, 2 are AI.
It. Oh
wow! I did not know
that.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Could AI?
I don't.
Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
I didn't even have a sentence formed. I just start moving my mouth and see what happens.
AI couldn't do what Carol Kay did in that studio with the bass line on "Boots Are Made for Walking." I don't see that happening. But then we had a listener this week to Garage Logic who went to AI to create a song. One of our frequent guests at the State Fair, she was always our very first guest, was champion baker Marjorie Johnson. Well, she finally passed away, well over 100 years old. And we also had Marjorie on, the whitest woman in America, at the same time on the same stage with Sharon Jones from the Dap Kings. You remember Sharon in that R&B band? We had them on together. So this guy went to AI and created 2 versions of a song using Sharon's voice. Here it is, in the style of the Dap Kings.
Down in Robbinsdale where the ovaries glow, little lady with a big red bow.
Talking to this guy, he was given a couple of different versions of this, and this is the one he chose. And it's fun and cool and interesting, and it really upsets me.
Right, it's just nuts.
Yeah, I feel you. This is really a topical question for everybody. And in fact, on my show, Count It Off, there's another shameless plug. I did an episode a couple weeks ago called Me, Myself, and AI. And I just talked about what it's doing. And as I was talking, I had to ad-lib the whole thing. And that's what I do. But I said, okay, let's just take some average lyric. Let me just make up something. I was walking down the street and I looked up at the sky and it made me think of your eyes and I blah, blah, blah. It's just some lame, 8th grade song that a kid would write because he likes the girl. And I plugged it into AI and I said, let's see what it comes up with. And the result was, I said, and let's get away from country for a while. Let's make it kind of R&B, old school, kind of a soul feel, Yeah. And my God, it just, you guys check it out. I mean, it's just amazing what that came out like.
Yeah.
And that's what it can do. If you give it, you have to give it instructions.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not surprised by that track. And I think I remember the champion baker being referred to this year at the fair because that was so much fun.
Yeah. It was so
you guys
surreal.
You guys have a great family of people that love you.
Yeah.
And, I love the fact that, not only do we share a common heritage being from Minnesota, which I'm really proud to be from, but, we have a lot of love for people. And you guys honor your fans. They sent up that goofy hat for Joe to wear this year on the show. It was like a beer can hat or something like this, something really crazy. And that's why I love hanging out with you cats. So the first day I met you, we're sitting on the front porch and we're just shooting it around like a bunch of guys at a campfire, pass me the weenies,
Yeah.
And I like these guys.
Such is pretty weird, isn't he? He's the weirdest guy I know. Seriously, he's a weird dude, and I think that's why I enjoy working with him. I don't like normal people.
Yeah, I call them knuckleheads. I have a song called "All My Friends Are Renegades and Rascals,"
Yes,
and
yes.
Joe's a knucklehead.
Yep. Let's
He's such a knucklehead.
let's plug everything you do, starting once again with your podcast. That's called.
It's called Count It Off, and it's on all the streaming sources, Spotify and Apple Music and all the usual stuff. And it drops a new episode every Tuesday morning.
Every Tuesday.
And it's your fresh new look at, your fresh new window into the world of music. So I do music people, and we talk about their careers, and we play their music. And, we have some jazz people. We have a guy that played with Dylan on Blood on the Tracks. We have two of the guys from Prince, from the Revolution, and from the NPG. I've got guys I just interviewed the guitar player that's played on every single Garth Brooks record ever, and his episode will be out next week, and that kind of thing. So it's all music people, and we have a great time talking.
Who's the guy on Blood on the Tracks? Which musician?
Kevin Odegard.
I can recite every single lyric on that album. I was talking to Heidt about this a couple of weeks ago. That is my Bob Dylan album. Every single song to me is an award winner on that album.
Yeah, and the Minneapolis guys that got to play on that record went without credit for many decades until finally there was an effort to right that wrong, and now their names are listed. But I mean,
good.
The fact that it was just Dylan wasn't really grooving on what was happening in New York, and he came back home to Sound 80, and there it was. And Bill Berg and Billy Peterson and Peter Ostrushko and Kevin and all these people got to play on it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Your website, jeffdaytonmusic.com. A lot of your stuff, if not all of it, is there, right?
A bunch of it. And I've got a new record coming, Kenny. It's called Songs from the Walnut Room, and it will drop on Black Friday. And it'll be at bandcamp.com, which is a place that people can actually pay and maybe even pay a little extra if they feel so inclined.
Cool.
And I've got 2 bluegrass songs on there just for you, my friend.
Good.
With the Hall of Fame guys from here in Nashville. And let's see, what else am I doing? Oh, there's, I'm adding people on YouTube, 1 or 2 a week. It's just
okay. That's what I was gonna ask you. Your podcast is on YouTube, right? You got to do cameras, no matter how much you love them. Oh, you got to get a camera, Jeff.
Well, it's audio. It's only audio.
Oh, get a camera.
Look at me. What good would hair and makeup do me? Come on.
Well, look at me. Do you think I like being on camera? I hate this.
We pulled it off.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get this straight.
Beautiful.
That's fine.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Jay, go ahead. Show them yours.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Mine's not much better. Hey, look at that.
All right.
I have a little left to comb.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Come on, you guys.
Yeah, my days of talking to groupies are over. I understand that.
Like Joe says, they look right through me. They don't even see me.
That's true.
Yeah, John Hyatt had a song called She's Warming Up to the Ice Age, and he was doing it live in Nashville, and he said he finally worked up the courage to talk to this girl at a bar, and he said something, and he said, she looked at me like I was a bug.
Ooh. You have any live shows coming up?
Yeah, I do. In fact, December the 14th, the Sunday, I'll be at Birch's in Long Lake with my wingman of the West and the East, Gary Lopak and Mark Bendixson. It's just an afternoon thing. I know it's going to be packed because we always fill that room up beyond the capacity. And then coming up in the spring, I will be at Crooners in Fridley on April 3rd. That's not on sale yet, so don't go rush them.
Great room.
And I'm going to be there with my friend Sam Ryden, who is a brilliant young talent, singer-songwriter. It's going to be 2 voices, 2 guitars, and 100 stories. And we're also on the 4th, I will be at 318 Cafe in Excelsior.
Cool.
And that's my birthday bash weekend, basically.
Fun.
Yeah.
Please.
I did bring a song, by the way, Kenny, and this is an example of what we did in AI, if you've got time for it.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Okay. Reeves will have it queued up here in a sec, but I was with my cousin Dick and Patty Dayton down in Jacksonville, and we were just sitting around. We were talking about AI, and Dick said, I've always had this saying, this cliche thing about drinking and fighting and stealing, and he said, can we write a song with that? And I said, well, you can't just throw those words in there unless you want to get what you get, but let's write a lyric. And so I carved out a lyric, a couple verses and a chorus, and we plugged it in, and this is the result. That'd make a good bump, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Don't tempt me. Why are you doing this?
up at the wedding, whiskey glass in his hand. Raised it up high and he made a toast, nothing like we had planned. Here's to deeding and stealing, fighting and drinking. If you cheat, may it be death. If you steal, may it be a woman's heart. If you fight, may it be for a brother. If you drink, may it be with me. Yeah, drink with me.
Oh, Jeff, it's got hooks.
You know,
Do I have to admit I love it?
I like it.
Do I have to admit I love it?
I like it. And that's AI?
It's 100% AI, except that, I punched in the story.
I would have never.
And,
I would, if I heard that come on the radio, if I was driving home, and I'd listen and be digging it. I had no clue.
Yeah, and it's the crooked hand of death itself. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
The crooked hand. How long did it take
Crazy.
you just to write that first verse? Don't tell me it took you 5 minutes either.
5 minutes.
Damn it.
Wow.
Jesus.
Well,
Wish you had some talent.
don't give me a microphone and don't give me a pencil sharpener and a blank yellow pad, because I'll just crank it out.
You're very good at your job, Jeff.
man.
Very good. Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
that's an acquired skill. Oh, Kenny,
really-
thank you, and Jay and Reeves.
Yeah.
You guys are the greatest, and very much appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
this was
you.
really good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Let's
good
just
Thanksgiving.
wrap it up, Jay.
Yeah.
Let's just be done. We've got a big guest lined up for next week. We hope.
We hope.
So thank you to everybody for listening to News from the CRABBY Coffee Shop.
That was fun.
You guys are